Today, and you will notice that the due date isn't until February 25th, which is after vacation, because I didn't think you would have enough time in 25 minutes for me to explain it and do it. So it's also this week's asynchronous assignment. It is called The Son of Man, and that is named after this painting. And so basically, we are going to reproduce this painting in a personal way. So this was done by René Magritte. He was a French artist, 1946. Oil paint on canvas, and it's pretty big. It's 3 feet by almost 4 feet tall. And the style of art is called Surrealism. And so Surrealism came about mostly in the mid 20th century in America and in Paris or in France. And the artists were making things look realistic but unreal at the same time. So you don't normally see a person with an apple hovering in front of their face. So the goals of this assignment are for you guys to play around with what might be a new technology to you, to have some fun adapting a famous painting to your own self or a family or friend, and to flex your creative muscles in imagining different solutions to a visual problem. So Magritte painted this painting as a self-portrait. This is actually him. He is wearing a suit jacket and a bowler hat. He's standing in front of a beach with a low wall, an ocean or some sort of sea. And the sky is kind of cloudy behind him. The most obvious detail is that there's a green apple hovering in front of him. You can kind of see his eyes peeking out a little bit in either side. And he said that he thinks it hides the face partly. So you have the apparent face, the apple, hiding the visible but hidden, the face of the person. It's something that happens constantly. Everything we see hides another thing. We always want to see what is hidden by what we see. There is an interest in that which is hidden and which the visible does not show us. So here are the steps for how to do this project. You are going to take a background, you're going to put a personal photo of yourself or a family member on it, and then you're going to obscure the face with something. So here are 3 quick versions I found online. Somebody had taken almost exactly the painting, but superimposed their hand, changed the sleeve a little bit, and put an Apple phone in front of the face instead of an apple itself. We have a minion with a banana, and we have Harry Potter with the golden snitch. So this is a piece of art that gets parodied a lot. You'll notice there are a lot of steps to this. It's all typed out, and then the videos are underneath each of the steps as well. But I don't want you to freak out thinking that there's a lot to do, because it isn't a lot, it's just a lot of little steps. So the first thing you're going to do is click this link and choose a background. You can choose one of these 4 backgrounds, or you can Google your own background. You can even go outside and take a photograph of your own background if you want. This first one is Edvard Munch, The Scream. The second one is a beach scene in paradise, because who's not thinking of that this time of year? There is the Mona Lisa background without Mona Lisa in it, and there is the Great Wall of China. So I'm going to download this one and come back to that in just a minute. The next step is to have someone take a photograph of you. It should say you, not your. Or you can photograph a friend or a family member posed like the man in this painting, The Son of Man. So make sure your person is standing up, standing straight, looking straight at the camera. They can be dressed up. They can be dressed in something funny or something simple. It doesn't really matter. And if you can photograph it in front of like a plain white wall or something like that, the next step will be a little easier for you. So that's number 2. Get a photograph. It would be awesome if you could do it of yourself, because this was originally a self-portrait. And then what you're going to do once you have that photograph is you're going to get it ready to put it in the image. And in order to do that, you have to remove the background. So this is a new technology. We have been using Pixlr Editor in my digital photography class for many years now, but this is something new that they've offered. In Adobe Photoshop, with one click of a button, you can remove the background from the subject of a piece of art. But Pixlr didn't have any way to do that until now. So you can either drag and drop your image in, or you can open it by clicking Open Image and choosing it from wherever it is on your computer. So once you drag and drop, it's going to ask you how big do you want it, and I always keep the original size if it will let me. And so here is a photograph of a friend of mine. Now, you'll notice that she no longer has any legs. So you might have to go back in and do a little fine tuning. So right now it defaults to the brush, but I find the magic wand a lot easier to work with. And I'm going to click on Keep because I want to add it back in, her pants back in. And I'm going to lower the tolerance so that when I click in a certain spot, it's not going to grab a lot of things around it. So I'm just going to click there, and you notice what it grabbed was some of the background and not what I wanted, but I'll show you how to fix that later. So I'm just going to kind of click down and around here to try to bring back some pieces that seem to be a little missing. All right, now I'm going to try to go back in and remove this gray object, and we'll see if it takes the pants out. So you notice I lowered the tolerance back down to 6, and I'm just sort of clicking in the general area of the things I want to remove. You don't have to get this absolutely perfect. I'll show you how to clean it up in Pixlr as well. So there, that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to download it, which is essentially saving it. And there it is. And I'm going to go back to the instructions. So that was step number 3. Step number 4 says to get your background started, open this. So click right on Pixlr E. And this is the same company that we just used to do the background removal. And you're going to click Open Image. If it shows up in Recent. Nope. Okay. So if I go to my downloads, I know that it saves it as Pixlr BG result. So I'm going to select that and click. Oh, wait, sorry. I jumped the gun. I was supposed to be putting in my background, but that's okay. So I put in my person first, which, you know, if you do that by mistake, that's okay. We're going to go to Layer, Add Image as Layer. So when you're stacking things in Pixlr, you are putting them in as layers, not as individual photos. Because if you just tell it to open photo, file open, it'll open it as a different photo. So mine are in reverse order, so all I have to do is drag it down so that the person is on top. Now, she's rather large, so I'm going to drop her down in size, move her up into the picture, and maybe make her a little bigger. So you can easily resize as long as you're on this little arrow, and I think I like that. This checkerboard just means that it's transparent, so because I goofed and I put things in at the different size, I'm just going to crop this down to get rid of that, make it easier to look at. You can ignore this part because you don't need to do this. All right. Now, see all this mess down here? I want to get rid of that mess. So I'm going to zoom in. And that's one thing I wish they had on the background removal, because if I could have seen this better, I would have popped some of these things back in here. But for the purposes of this demonstration, it's okay. So I'm going to click on the eraser, and I got to be on the layer. So make sure you're clicked on the layer that you want to use, and see how big my eraser is. That's going to work awesome. Just go along and erase. Get rid of anything you don't want. It's leaving a fuzzy edge because I like a soft edge on an eraser, but you can change that. I'll show you how to change that in just 1 second. I'm going to come over here and erase this. Now, you can change the size of your eraser, the shape, the softness if you don't want it quite so fuzzy. And then I'm going to zoom in a bit more, come up here, and just sort of click off some of these things. I find when I'm working with Pixlr, and I said this on the video, that if I do shorter steps and then I have to go back and undo, I don't end up losing a lot of my work. And you can see I'm navigating around by using the little navigation window over here. It allows me to move around my picture. All right, now we're almost ready for the last step. Yay! Okay, so now all I'm missing is something to obscure my friend's face. So if I go back to your instructions, it says to add your object to the face in the Son of Man style, do a Google search for your object. So I've done a couple of versions of this so far, and right now I think I'm going to go with a basketball. So I'm going to type in basketball and go to images, and I come up with all of these options. Now, any one of these I could easily take and go back to the remove background, but I want to try to save myself a step. So I'm going to type in transparent background and see what I get. So you see how these all have checkerboards behind them? That should represent that it is a transparent background. It doesn't always work that way though. So I'm going to take this one and download this, or save image as, downloads. And then I'm going to come back to my picture. And again, go to Layer, Add Image as Layer. And then I'm going to find that basketball in my downloads. Nope, that was a different basketball. Maybe it's on my desktop. Yep, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to say open. Now, see, this happens a lot. That's not transparent, is it? So I'm going to delete this layer, and I'm going to go back here and open that image and let this application do all their work. There you go, perfect. Nice crisp edges. And I've downloaded that. So go back to my picture, Layer, Add Image as Layer. Go to my downloads. Scroll all the way down to the P's. There it is, number 3. And there's the basketball. So if I go back up to my move tool, move it up to the face, shrink it a little bit. There we go, perfect. And I'm done. Now, if you don't get a chance to do this all in one sitting, when you go to File, Save, you want to change it to a PXD. That will allow you to go back to it and work on it later. If you save it as a JPEG, you won't have all of your layers over here, and you won't be able to do anything with it. But if you are 100% done, change the name, save it as a JPEG, put the quality at 100, and click download. And then you can submit it to the assignment. So I know that seems like a lot of steps, but I don't think it'll take you more than a half hour if you just go step by step, follow these instructions. The information on saving it is here. And yeah, there are videos. This video is for the steps 4 through 7. And then that's all you need to know. Any questions?
So I'm doing mine. I have a big snowy field drop back, so it's just all you can see is blank white snow behind me.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't know what to do about my camera, because I'm not allowed to have a phone, and my camera, I don't know how to
Do,
like switch from a SD card to a micro SD card because I can't find my
do,
micro SD and SD card like combining thing.
are there any pictures of you online anywhere?
Not that I can like find, not a lot of social media or anything.
Is there anybody else at home that has a phone that could just take a picture for you and then email it to you at some point?
Yeah, I'll have to wait till later today though.
Yeah, that's fine. This isn't
All right.
due until the 25th.
All right.
Good questions. Any other questions? By the way, Gary, I do love your avatar.
Yes, thank you.
Well, if there aren't any other questions, then you are free to go play around with this. And I will see some of you tomorrow and the rest of you on Friday, or have a wonderful vacation if you're fully remote.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Okay. Now what do I want to do? Not much.